All right, so we're going to go into right now the Carifesta files. Okay. We're going to go into the Carifesta files, and we're at episode 4. Who remember what we dealt with in episode 3? I wouldn't even bother to ask you all. Tonight, we are asking about this $14.1 million question. Remember, they said they spent over 35 million. Okay, 800% increase in the budget. And so there's an alarm. And last week we are going through the spending, what they said that they spent. We're going through that carefully. So last week we looked at the $5.8 million. All right, get your pen and paper again. Listen, this show is not a gossip show, this is an educational show. We're motivating, we're mobilizing, and we're agitating. You understand? And we're going to talk about the hard things on here. We're going to ask hard questions on here. And there is a big $14.1 million hard question. Okay? We are following the money. If you're following the money with me, give me a thumbs up. Don't lose him now, Don't, because some of you, once we get into numbers, you get turned off. And they know that. They know that people are not going to go and look in the numbers. They were supposed to put out these bogus figures that did not add up in the newspaper. There's nobody up there at the National Carroll Foundation that can tell me that those figures added up, that they put out there. Nobody at that National Carroll Foundation. All of them is a bunch of mess. Okay? But they put out those figures and they thought that we were going to forget them. Well, we are not. We're doing it piece by piece. I got 10 episodes. We're at number 4. We are not going to forget it. We ask who paid for what. We ask who was covered under the 5.8 million for accommodation, airfare, and per diem. We ask that. But tonight we move deeper. Okay? We are investigating the biggest line item of all. $14.1 million. They said they gave us a big banner. No breakdown, No breakdown. This Minister of Culture, E.M.M.A, Motley, the CEO of the National Cultural Foundation, Carol Roberts, gave us no breakdown. They just gave us a banner. It's a banner. 14.1 million. These people all the dealing is millions. Millions, because it's not their money. They said it's institutional expenditure. So tonight we are asking, institutional expenditure, what was built? Prime Minister E.M.M.A Motley, Carol Roberts, who paid? Who paid for it? Who benefited? We're told that this 4.1 million was spent under what they're calling this institutional expenditure. Normally that includes what? Props, the costumes. Listen. And when you think of this 4.1 million, think of the hospital. Think of the hospital. Just think of the hospital. What we could do with that at the hospital. Props, costumes, electrical installations, fixtures, furniture, booths, village build out. Sounds impressive, right? But I sat here, did some last week and did some investigation today as well. And what I found is that there are 3 major infrastructure projects they are claiming to be connected with Carifesta. The first project is what everybody call the Fowl Coop. This is supposed to be the Barbados National Performing Arts Center. When you pass there, that looks like a performing arts center to you? Now, they say that this is phase 1. It is built on 85,000 square feet. But after Carifesta, we've spent $14.1 million. And it is still phase 1, still unfinished. How much money was spent on that? How much money was spent on that structure? Now, this structure here, there's a Sir David Agitate from Agitate Associates. Apparently, the building was designed by him. You would not believe. I went and I started to research on Sir David Agitate and Agitate Associates. He's a Ghanaian, right? Architect. A Ghanaian architect who, yes, his name has been associated with some very prestigious buildings, etc. But important to note that there is this particular man, his name is also involved in some controversy. And that has to do with, in Ghana, there's something called the National Cathedral of Ghana, right? And he was the one who was supposed to design this thing. And right now, the Ghana government has launched scrutiny and investigation around this unbuilt cathedral project. There have been large sums spent. This is according to Ghana News in Ghana. You can check it out. This is what is being alleged here. There are allegations that Agitate Associates, that's building the Fowl Coop, that the National Cathedral of Ghana, and I don't know if they remember when we were in Ghana, they were talking about this, and this National Cathedral was supposed to be built, and there was so much controversy around it. That would have been years ago. We were in Ghana. The construction of this National Cathedral has been stalled. Right? And there are lots of questions, audit questions, they're alleging around consultancy payments that involves the same architect that the government used, contracted for this National Performing Arts Center. By the way, they were told that this was going to be built. He was going to build it in 6 weeks. Hey. 6 weeks. So we have lots of questions to ask the Barbados government. How did you select Agitate Associates? Was it a competitive process? Was it through the cabinet? Was it a direct appointment by someone? How did you choose this person? How much was paid to Ajay Associate or related consultants? Read that structure, the unfinished structure. Now, if a regular person, I'm not a journalist, I'm a regular person, could go and find this information, that all of this, there are more controversies surrounding him, but they're not related to building, to construction. So with concerning allegations about his character and sexual harassment and etc. I won't go into that because it doesn't have to do with building. But lots of public controversy surrounding this man since 2023. What due diligence was done before the government of Barbados engaged this firm? Prime Minister E.M.M.A, you travel all the time. You go to Africa. Were you the one who found him? I'm asking you a question. Was there any due diligence done before he was engaged? Because that would affect, if what he did in Ghana is what is happening here, our goose cook. Prime Minister E.M.M.A, Carol Roberts, what safeguards were put in place to prevent cost overruns? Stalled infrastructure, stalled. The question is, did you pay for the architecture or were you just wanting a brand name person? He has global acclaim and he's done all of these different things, but there is the Ghana Cathedral scrutiny. Those allegations are all on the internet. All right. We're gonna continue this. This was supposed to be done in 6 weeks. He was supposed to build. He was supposed, all of that, it was supposed to happen in 6 weeks. You believe that? You think that, and they believe that? You believe that they actually believe that? They could have built that in 6 weeks? Oh my goodness. Jason is here. Jason, you're gonna have to give me a couple more minutes. Let me try to finish this up. Oh my goodness, this is something else. Barbados, once again. Then we're now at the Carifesta village in Waterford. This is supposed to be a central festival hub. If you go online, you look at it. Now, if you visit that site, what you're going to see, and I guarantee you, there's no permanent stage there. There's no permanent seating, no permanent lighting. You still have to fly in equipment. And we showed you that the floor is already breaking apart. Is this a completed cultural hub? What are we supposed to do there that we can't do anywhere else? It is a tent with flooring. Don't forget, we're talking about the $14.1 million supposed to be institutional expenses, the legacy that they're supposed to be leaving. Is this a completed cultural hub? Or is this another unfinished shell? Now, online, I noted that they included the Richard Stout Amphitheater. But I remember sitting here and reading that Carol Roberts was completing the they were doing up the Richard Stout Amphitheater for crop over. So that work began before Carifesta. So you need to go and correct what you all have online, because none of us buying that. Based on what you said to us about the Richard Stout Amphitheater, wasn't that done before crop over? Tell me if I'm wrong, chat, comment section, let me know. Am I wrong? And was this counted in that $14.1 million? Was it funded separately? Now, as I take a few more minutes to go through this, because this will hurt your head. Here's the question: who paid? What we found, three sources is what we found. The government of Barbados, that means you and I, taxes, taxpayers' money. Then they took a loan, a CAF loan, 1 million US. And there was a donation from CIBC Caribbean for 1 million, Barbados 1 million. But I want you to realize that the CAF money was not a grant, it was a loan. And we know that the loan must be repaid. But look at it, it's an unfinished building that we're looking at. Structure, not a building, a structure, unfinished. And that loan was taken specifically for that. What are the terms of this loan, Prime Minister Mayor Motley? We don't know these things. There's no freedom of information laws here. What is the interest rate of this loan? Over how many years? Which ministry carries this debt? And how much government money was added up on top of that? And listen, folks, listen, that's not all yet, you know. Listen, that is not all as yet. I don't know if they think we're idiots. Did you know that the Waterford land, it would appear, well, let me ask the government the question. Did you purchase that land? Prime Minister Mayor Motley, you are and were the Minister of Culture. Did you purchase the land that you claim to build this cultural hub as a legacy? You say that is a legacy, a tent, a beautiful tent with floors that are beautiful just on looking on it. But as soon as the rain fell and people walk on it 3 times, the tiles were coming up. That is what you are calling a cultural hub, a shell. And it's supposed to be a legacy, and we must be happy about it. The land that you put that on, did you purchase it? Was it leased? Minister of Culture? License? Is there a sale agreement anywhere? So yours, based on what we're seeing online, even CBC reported it. They're in the process of purchasing the land. So you're telling me you built a legacy for Barbados on land, the ownership of land that was not fully finalized, land ownership that was not fully finalized. So what remains to us? What if that does not go through? Where is this cultural hub. Why you guys won't stop telling people fables, fibs? Talking about you leave this legacy, unfinished buildings, structures. Who you fooling? Look at the Carifesta that went before. Let's look at 2017. That was just here. School halls were refurbished. Go and look at them. Go look at Combermere. Go look at Combermere. That structure is still there, and the hall is still refurbished. The infrastructure is still there. That's a proper hall. Combermere is a proper hall. Stage, backdrop, big screens. I think the screen is on both sides, or it drops down. I can't try to remember. Beautiful. Go to Alexandra School and see a hall. Look at Daphne Joseph Hackett, state of the art. Go and look at that. It is small, yes, but beautiful. That is a legacy. That Falcube is not legacy. Look at the improvements at the gymnasium. Those improvements were made since the last Carifesta. Those assets still visible today. What remains? Not renderings, not press conferences, not artist impressions. What remains? We're told that this is legacy. We're told that this is investment. We're told about this institutional development. Then show the people the institutions. Show them. Show us what was built. Show us what is complete. Show us what Barbados owns. After you spend $14.1 million. Show us who got the contracts. Show us how much debt remains. You spend $14.1 million, Prime Minister Mia Mottley. The people deserve more than headlines and lies on the internet. Lies. We deserve the truth. And we're not going to give up on it. We're not going to give up.